I'm here with Buzz Benson, Managing Director of Sightline Partners. Thanks for joining us, Buzz. You gave a great presentation up there, at least a bit of a top 10 list of why Sightline and why you like investing in ophthalmology. Can you run over the list and give us the summary?
Sure, I'd be happy to run over the list. We think ophthalmology is one of the really great segments to invest in for a number of reasons. And when I was asked by Bill Link to put together some thoughts, I said, okay, can I get to top 10? And it was pretty easy. So one reason is we like it because ophthalmology is one of the largest segments for investments. So in the last 15 years, there's been about 650 deals, about $9.2 billion invested. In the last couple years, in 2012 and 13, there were about 90 to 100 deals in that time period, about $2 to $2.2 billion. And in our business model, we really like to have a lot of opportunities to look at, and ophthalmology provides that, and about 15% of our portfolio is in the ophthalmology space. So that's kind of number one. Number two is tremendous market, both from an unmet needs and needs that are out in the medical field, clinical needs that still have to be solved for patients. So number two would be market, unmet medical needs. Number three would be just market size as far as demographics and outside the U.S. opportunities. So we really like the size of that market opportunity, and conferences like this really highlight the size of that market opportunity. Number four would be motivated patients. I mean, patients will do almost everything to retain their eyesight, improve their eyesight. So there's a lot of patients that are accessible for that, and they're motivated. So they're motivated not only for items that are needed clinical procedures, but also elective procedures. Number five would be self-pay. In the whole private area, lower reimbursement risks from our standpoint, but this whole area in the ophthalmology has really established self-pay, and it's proved that the customer or the client will be willing to pay for it. Number six that I mentioned was physicians that are innovative and early adopters. We see that a lot. There's a lot of innovation that physicians can bring to the marketplace. They're willing to spend the time to do that. They're willing to work with VCs, angel investors, and they'll take the time and their efforts to make that happen. And I mentioned Dick Lindstrom on the panel, which was great from that standpoint. I think the seventh reason would be focused distribution channel. We find that a limited number of sales reps can cover the top 100 early adopters, so you can get your product out in the market with a relatively small sales force. Number eight was that acquirers have demonstrated that they're willing to buy these emerging companies earlier in the process. So you don't have to build out a whole distribution channel across the United States. You have to prove adoption, but you don't have to prove it, throughout the country. Number nine would be products generate high gross margins. This area in the whole ophthalmology area has shown that we can get very high gross margins, which are really important, for building successful business. And number 10 I mentioned is this recent success with IPOs. Institutional investors have made money in the IPO market recently on ophthalmology. When they do that, there'll be more innovation, there'll be more capital coming into the space, and that's what you're seeing. So those would be the top 10.
Those are a lot of great reasons. Thanks for sharing with us, Buzz.